Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boscheman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the numerology and the energy for May 2022. First, we're going to look at the numerology and energy for the collective, which we are all a part of. And then we're going to break it down into the individual life path forecast. So before I get started, of course, this is a general reading. If you would like a personalized reading, please book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. So in the Northern Hemisphere, May brings flowers, springtime, and 11-2 energy this year. So when we have master level energy in a cycle, we may notice the challenges or obstacles to be a bit more pronounced, but the same can be said of the rewards of this cycle. So think of it like taking an accelerated master's level course. We'll have to put in the effort, but the satisfaction will be worth it. Similar to a 2 cycle, you may notice your experience sort of hasten, and this can help to push us to be much more decisive within our actions and our personal circumstances. Sudden events can occur now that require us to quickly go within, follow our instincts or our intuition, and take the reins within our own experience when we're deciding next steps. So, in doing so, we alleviate the tendency for being influenced by others during this time because there's a sense of urgency present that doesn't support calling multiple friends, weighing the options, reviewing pros and cons. No, you already know what to do. And this energy is assisting you in trusting yourself and the cues of your body and your own inner knowing. So don't miss an opportunity because you don't trust yourself enough to make a decision. This energy can feel almost hectic and exciting, and it can create a tendency for impulsivity. So this is fine if, of course, if it feels right to you and if you're following your own intuition. However, be aware of feeling like you have the need to sort of make a knee-jerk commitment at this time, simply to, rush through the process to get to the conclusion. If it feels aligned, great. But if it feels sort of cloudy and you're not quite sure, and you're still making haste simply to get to the end goal, then you may wish at a later time that you had taken more time. So be patient, be tolerant, and be decisive. All of that will yield positive results during an 11-2 cycle. Legal dealings can come up now to be worked through as well. So financial settlements are possible, such as inheritance or lawsuits of some sort being finalized. Contractual agreements, partnerships can also come to the forefront. And this, of course, includes marriage, divorce, adoption, buying or selling a home, property, or material goods. This 11-2 energy is also beautiful energy for investing time and resources into learning something new or furthering your education in some way. So signing up for a course, going back to school, attending a workshop of some sort or a retreat, as well as traveling to new places and fully immersing yourself within a different culture. All of this is supported under this beautiful 11-2 energy. Throughout May, we could find that we are more sensitive, and this can be a phenomenal time for enhancing our intuitive and psychic abilities. So this can be a very creative, inspirational period. So pay attention to any insights, dreams, and ideas that come flooding in at this time. So chances are, even if you don't take action on these new ideas, these inspirations, you'll see them resurface in some way again, if they're meant to, right? So at this stage, simply write them down and feel into how you want to work with them. Some you may release, and others you may feel compelled to create something much more tangible. This can be a very exciting cycle for this sort of process. So as mentioned, with any master energy comes master level tests and challenges to figure out and to overcome in order to extract the wisdom needed to move forward. So you may see exciting, big, new ideas emerge at this time, but those big new ideas may be coupled with just as big of challenges to overcome in order to achieve whatever this new goal is. So remember, challenges don't always indicate that something isn't meant for us. Sometimes those challenges are actually allies in assisting us to master whatever it is that we're attempting to achieve. So very infrequently is it true that mastering comes easily. It takes effort, persistence, skill, time, trial and error, all of these things, right? So this is going to be a period to keep moving forward despite the challenges to achieve whatever it is that you're working towards. That is, if it still calls to you. So if there is still fire behind you with whatever this is, then go for it. Keep going. You can overcome whatever challenges surface, and ultimately you're meant to extract the wisdom from those challenges. They're not meant to deter you necessarily or throw you off course. Now, of course, if you're still pursuing an old dream that's no longer your dream, but somebody else's, and your intent and motivation is sort of all about ego over true inspiration and desire, then you may continue to feel sort of out of alignment with this goal, and the challenges will become so great that you're only left feeling defeated versus inspired. So there is a difference. This 11-2 energy will assist us in recognizing sort of where we land with that. And, as we move through this journey, whether the goal is still truly ours or whether it's time to be released for a new one to enter. Big energy for May. And again, it's always what we choose to do with this energy that ultimately makes the difference. So when we're working with master level energy, we can anticipate that there will be master level challenges, but again, it's just assisting us in mastering the energy. So let's move on to the individual life path numbers. Life path number 3. So I pulled an animal spirit card for you all, and you've got Bat Spirit. And so there's really this energy with Bat Spirit about seeing things from a different perspective. And really what I'm kind of seeing here is, bats use their sonar to find their food and to, that's how they see basically, right? And so there's something here about, again, really following your intuition this month. Well, always, but especially this month when it comes to being decisive and making decisions. There's some things that you're not going to be able to either have the full story around, or things how they present themselves sort of in reality isn't necessarily the full story. And so you're going to have to be able to trust yourself, trust your intuition, and make your decisions using all of the information that you have available, right? And so not just taking things at face value, not just trusting what somebody is saying to you, but again, following that instinct, following that inner knowing, following your own internal sonar, basically. And so again, Bat Spirit is just reminding you that there are other ways of looking at things. There are different ways of interpreting experiences. And really all you can do is come back to what feels true for you, what feels authentic for you, and then move from that space and make your decisions from that space. All, of course, with the intention of doing no harm, but understanding that you're never going to have all of the answers. You're never going to have the full story. You're never going to have all of the details that you need to be able to make quote unquote, the perfect decision about something. So again, there's just this energy around, take the information as it's presented, but then also follow your gut, follow your intuition as well. That's going to be really, really important for you as you move through May and as you make decisions moving forward, right? So I just think that's coming in very, very strongly. There's also something here with Bat energy about moving when other people don't move type thing. Sort of like taking action when other people are dormant. And so sort of where this is coming from is this idea that, bats are most active at night when most people are sleeping. They're nocturnal animals. And so there's something here around not necessarily, just only taking action at night or whatever, but there's something here around where other people may be reluctant to take action with something. There's something about you threes that sort of have the I don't want to say audacity, but like the gumption, the drive to say yes to whatever this is, and to really push forward with this when other people are reluctant for some reason. It's almost like you have this sixth sense about knowing this can work. Other people don't see it, so they're not going to take action, but you take action and it works out beautifully type thing. It's that kind of energy, and that's coming through really, really strongly with bat energy. So pay attention to that. If you feel really strongly about something, you feel really compelled to do something or very drawn towards something, but everybody else is like, it's not a good idea, or I'm going to wait, I'm going to wait for more information, or whatever the case may be, this is where I say, really follow your gut, really follow your intuition, because there's something here. And I feel like you threes are the ones who are going to be able to unlock it. And again, it's going to be that bold action and following that intuition that's going to be the key for figuring out what this is and being able to go after it when other people are reluctant to do so. I think there's something really important here around this. So just pay attention to that throughout the month. I would say definitely at the beginning of the month and mid-month. This could come in very, very strongly for you. So especially mid-month. So I'll get to that. Okay, so looking at the month ahead for you all, starting off the month with very strong creative energy. Like this is your energy, big, bold, again, like following your intuition, creating something, nurturing something, seeing something through to completion, just really like having this beautiful idea and doing everything in your power to bring it from seedling to full grown tree, right? So there's something here around this very nurturing energy, you having this idea and really watering it and watching it grow and doing whatever you need to do to be able to do that. I also see this very like collaborative energy as well coming in. So that could be like the resources, the people, whatever it is that you need to get this off the ground, coming in to assist at this time. But you're sort of like the leader in this movement, whatever that is. But big ideas potentially coming in for you all this month, threes, which definitely is makes sense because we're in this 11 energy, which again is all about inspiration and inspired action. So whatever comes in for you that inspires you, that sort of again compels you to take inspired action, even if other people don't understand it, you have the green light, especially at the beginning of the month for sure. So pay attention to, again, the resources that want to come in for you, the ideas, the inspirations, write them down, pay attention to your dreams. For some of you, this could very quite literally be creating new life. So this could be finding out that you're pregnant or having a baby this month. So beautiful, very like sort of like a birthing energy. So it's kind of like maybe there's something that you've been working on for quite some time and now you're finally giving birth to it. You're finally seeing it come to fruition. And so, but that's not the end point. Just because you've birthed something, now you have to nurture it and continue to let it grow and to assist in that process. And so this is going to be, I think, a time where, again, you can see things really kind of coming together in a beautiful light. And now the next step is figuring out how to keep it alive, keep it moving, right? And continue to help it to grow. So I think a lot of that can come in this month or the beginning of the month for you. So pay attention to that. And that can also be about like relationships as well. So a new relationship coming to life, and you having to be very mindful about how you're participating and how you're contributing to that relationship and how you're showing up to it. Basically, what is your role in this relationship and what does that look like and how can you come in a healthy way and help it to grow? Mid-month, this is some interesting energy. There's almost like this sort of push and pull energy between like trying to keep the peace and avoid conflict, or sort of going to battle for what you believe in, what you want to see happen, and people not really getting it. And so you really needing to continue to stand up for what you believe in, that sort of thing, and continue to follow through with, again, when other people are saying, I don't see this, I don't agree with this, I'm not interested in moving forward with this, I'm going to wait, whatever. This is that time where I really feel like that energy is coming in strong, to where you're going to find happiness and contentment through the follow through, through saying yes to whatever this is, through standing up for what you believe in, and really following through with that. There is also this energy, though, about choosing your battles. So, if there doesn't need to be conflict, and really you following your passion does not need to equate to some kind of conflict, right? Just because somebody doesn't agree with it, or they don't want to get on board or whatever, that's fine. They can do their thing. You can do your thing. It doesn't have to equate to some level of conflict. And so if it is escalating into conflict, then you also need to take a look at your, how you're participating in that and how you're contributing to that. I think that's going to be really important. So I think there's a message here around being able to find joy and contentment and happiness in following your passion without letting it lead to any kind of like, ego-driven conflict, let's put it that way, where pride gets in the way. And so you feel like you have to prove yourself to people, when in reality, you don't have to prove yourself to people. You just need to do what you came here to do. And the people that's meant for will find you. So it's not about, I think sometimes when we get into this notion of like, I have to prove myself, I have to like, just, I don't know, like, penetrate whatever this is and just get my voice in there and my product in there or whatever, and just kind of force it on people. That creates an environment of conflict. That creates an environment of dis-ease, right? And so again, there's just something here about you being able to stand in your power, stand in your truth, go after your vision, follow through with that vision, without creating conflict and without contributing to it. If somebody else wants to bring the conflict, that's on them, but you don't have to participate in that. And so again, it's going to be a very decisive sort of month this month, where you trust your instincts, you trust yourself, you go after what you feel called to go after without creating harm, without the intention of doing any harm, right? And if you see those actions starting to create some kind of conflict or harm, then that's where you reassess and you change direction. So interesting energies coming up mid-month there. But I would definitely say, it takes two to tango. So pay attention if there's conflict, how you are choosing to contribute and participate in that conflict, because you always have the option of pulling out, right? Of changing direction, of not inviting that in or entertaining it so that it stays, if you see what I'm trying to say here. Okay, then we move into the end of the month, and this is interesting because this is also where I sort of see bat energy coming in, where it's like you may really have to really pay attention to your gut instinct, your judge of character type thing. There's something here around maneuvering through the dark. So you're not going to have all the answers. There's going to be illusions. There's going to be sort of veils. There's going to be, people are going to be putting up their walls, that sort of thing. And so it's really going to be about you reading the energy, you reading the room, as opposed to just reading the facts of what's in front of you. So that's not always easy to do, especially if others are trying to manipulate or influence you in some way, because it's going to be game on for them. And so you really have to pay attention to, again, your gut feeling. Who can you trust? Who do you feel like you maybe shouldn't be inviting into your home to collaborate with, that sort of thing, or into your experience? You just really need to pay attention to that, because I do think there's something here around not everybody's intentions are always going to be good 100% of the time. And so you're not always going to know that if you take everything at face value. And so again, I think this is where threes, you're just really going to have to pay attention to what is being presented to you. How do you feel about it? And make your decision based off that, and trusting yourself in that process, so that you're not easily influenced, so that you're not easily overcome, or try to minimize who you are and your contribution to avoid conflict. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, sometimes we can't avoid the conflict, but we can always excuse ourselves from the conflict. We don't have to participate in it. But sometimes when someone presents us with something and we say no to it because it doesn't feel aligned for us, that can create conflict within itself, because people don't always understand that, what's good for them is not always good for us. And so sometimes we have to bow out and, hope that people will understand that process. And if they don't, that's really on them. That's not our responsibility to take over. So I do think that there's something here, especially I feel like it's all through the month for you guys, but I really feel like it's very strongly at the end of the month to, again, take everything that's presented to you and then couple that with your intuition and how you feel about whatever this is to help you to make that decision moving forward. This is also what I talked about in the intro about this can be a really exciting month. It can feel like a big energy month, which 3 energy is already sort of big energy. So you can kind of get caught up in that, and that can influence your decision. And I would say this is where you need to kind of pause if you can and take everything again that you have presented to you, as well as that intuition, and then make the decision based off that. Because I think if you're too impulsive or you make too many decisions in haste, you may regret that down the road. And so, just something you would have to deal with at that time. But I do think it's preventable if you can, again, follow that intuition. I think that's going to be key for you all this month. Okay, everyone, I hope this was a good reading, and I hope that it helps you as you maneuver through May, but I hope it's a beautiful May for you. Thanks, threes. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.